America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, Enrique Tario wants you to know that the conditions in prison are bad. Okay. And the insurrectionists also want you to know the same thing. It is horrible, horrible in prison. Now, black men in this country have been complaining about the conditions forever. Now, all of a sudden, because certain people are raising their voices about how bad it is in prison, it's now getting attention. Imagine that. All right, so let's start with, because these are two actual separate stories, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with the lame ass overthrow the government insurrectionists. Yes, let's start with them. So this came out in the New York Times, and they are saying that, wow, it is really bad in there. It is really, really bad. Now, what do your people always say? Well, if you don't want to be in jail, don't commit crimes, right? But then we have the exonerations that proves you all to be liars because you will put people in there that don't commit crimes. That's why I try to tell people you do not have to commit a crime in America to end up in jail. They'll trump up charges against you, make all kinds of shit up in court, and throw you in there. It is their great reputation, and it always will be their reputation. So, this came out in the New York Times. Problems at DC jail were ignored until January 6th defendants came along. So, since they came along, oh my, they're now paying attention to the horrible conditions in the jails. So, this is November 11th, 2021. For several months, a few dozen men being held without bail in connection with the January 6th attack on the Capitol have loudly and repeatedly complained about conditions at the DC jail. Some, through lawyers, have raised concerns about threats from guards. Oh, the guards ain't treating you right? Mm-mm-mm. Isn't that what black men been saying forever? So they got threats from guards, standing in sewage, scant food, and water. A federal judge recently held top jail officials in contempt. Wow. So as long as the black men were complaining, you didn't hold nobody in contempt. But now the faces of the jailbirds have changed, and now the judge wants to step forward and hold them in contempt, y'all. Oh, yes, they do. Okay, so the jail officials were held in contempt after they delayed prompt medical care for a capital defendant in their custody. Oh my, they're getting the black treatment in jail. Just last week, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, visited the jail and later likened the rioters inside to prisoners of war. Oh my goodness, y'all, look at how much they care about the conditions of jails all of a sudden, suggesting that they have been mistreated because of their politics. Oh no, that can't be true. Oh no. Okay, so now that these reports are coming out, oh, the people that look like them are suddenly paying attention to the horrible, horrible conditions behind bars. So now let's go to Ontario here, the dark white supremacist. So this came out November 15th, 2021. Raw story. Proud Boys leader complains to judge about jail conditions. There are feces in my room right now. You probably put it there. Clean it up, Tario. Jail Proud Boys leader Enrique Tario on Monday gave a graphic description of problems at the Washington, D.C. jail where he's being held during a court appearance in which Tario asked to be released to home confinement for the remainder of his sentence. Tario's attorney complained to the court that the conditions in jail were intolerable for his client. Well, they're intolerable for the black men you got up in there, but you never seem to care about that. Now, it is such a concern, y'all. It's such a concern. I say all of you should sit there and rot. Why should the conditions be made different for you? You know, who set up this system to be this way? Okay, it sure wasn't us. Who set up the system where the conditions are bad and you get threatened by the COs and you got feces up in your room and rats are in there? Who set up the system? So if you get bit in the ass by your own system, oh well. As reported by NBC4 Washington's Scott MacFarlane, the attorney for the judge, that conditions in the jail have grown worse ever since Tario was sentenced earlier this year. Trust me, those conditions were bad long before Tario was sentenced. Get out of here with that crap. The judge was skeptical, however, said there had been many complaints about the conditions in the jails for many years. It sure has. But see, when the black men are complaining about this, it falls upon deaf ears. But now the insurrectionists and Tadio here open their mouth about the conditions. Oh, now everybody is suddenly paying attention and people are being held in contempt. Oh, my goodness. Lots of people get sentenced to DC jail, he said, according to McFarlane. Lots of people get held there pre-trial. It was at this point that Tario himself spoke up and said, "There are feces in my room right now." The Proud Boy leader reportedly complained about the temperature of the food he's been served. Tario was sentenced to jail earlier this year after he admitted in court that he tore down and burned a Black Lives Matter flag that was on display at the Asbury United Methodist Church in DC. So this was days before the insurrection. All right, going to continue. All right, Tario is currently scheduled to be released next year in late January. So he really ain't in there all that long. But no, I mean, it's just amazing how when certain people whine about the conditions, it gets some attention and it makes the press. But as long as the black men in there complain about the horrible conditions, that's okay. We ain't got to report on that. You suck. You suck. And this is why your nation will be no more. You will never experience this nation like you did in 2019 ever again. It is all downhill from here. It's very convenient to make sure voices are heard from the people that make sure you rig up the system so you don't end up in there. And then when you do end up in there, you try to give the lightest sentence you could possibly give. So, y'all, please tell me what you think now that these insurrectionists and Enrique Tarrio are complaining about the condition. And it's actually getting the attention of judges and the press. Oh my, y'all suck. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.